Hey everyone. Yeah, I've got about a little over 20 minutes before I have to clock back into work, but yeah, you see the title below, and I do apologize firsthand for any stream interruptions, bad streaming, stuff like that. It's kind of hard to avoid when you're doing things live, especially through wireless networks. But I wanted to come out and as the title of the video said, give my thoughts on these prequel comics that are preceding the MLP movie. Now, first of all, we do know that the MLP movie is getting a PG rating. Pretty much a lot of us, including myself, suspected that, especially after we saw the first official trailer. Now, a lot of us also suspected it would get a PG rating anyway, just for the fact that some of the stories it tells in its episodes, for example, the Perfect Pair, are stories that would probably go over the head of the originally intended audience that the show was meant for. So it's not a surprise there, especially when you go back to the season 4 finale, and you kind of get, as some people say, that Dragon Ball-esque like a feeling or atmosphere, especially in the second part, if not in both parts. And then it's got a TVY 7 rating instead of a TVY, which it usually had at that time. So yeah, it shouldn't be too much of a surprise that the movie's getting a PG rating, especially with the fact that things are supposed to be a little bit more intensified and more perilous than what you see in the show. But if that isn't much of an example through the trailer to kind of give you an idea that this movie did or was probably going to get the PG rating it did, then I think the prequel comics kind of helped out, or are helping out. Because here's the thing about these prequel comics. These comics were made specifically, and I'm sure a lot of people know about this, but for those that don't, and they're probably getting into MLP, FIM right now because of the fact that people have talked it up in a very positive way, and that a lot of the friends and family, co-workers and all that are hyped for the movie. They probably want to see what this is all about, and maybe the comics are one way to do this, but specifically when it comes to the movie, the prequel comics are probably the best way to do this as well. Basically what these prequel comics are, for anybody that may not know, is they are dedicated. Now I think there's 4 to 5 issues, maybe 4 to 5 issues, I can't really say, but I know it started around the end of July, and it's going to continue to about October. So you're looking, well actually I think it started around the end of June, and it proceeds into June, July, August, September, so it's basically leading into the movie. But what each of these issues are doing is they're dedicating themselves to these new characters that we're going to see on the big screen. The first one, of course, was the antagonist, the villain of the film, the Storm King. We ended up seeing him for the first time. We kind of got an idea of what his personality and his character is going to be like. I kind of mentioned that in a review I did. So basically that was what the first issue was focused on, was the Storm King and who he really was. Basically his deal is he doesn't really have much in the need for actual treasures like gold and all that. What he's in search for is, in fact, what he's in search for is that country's magic, that country's powerful magic. He's basically in search for the powerful magic that country has ownership of, or has possession of. That's his main goal. And that's why basically he's going to Equestria. He wants the magic that's there, and the magic that resides there resides in not just maybe the Tree of Harmony, if it's still in existence as far as the movie is concerned, but mainly what the princesses have, the magic they contain. So, you know, so mainly that is his goal. He wants the rarest magic out there to make him powerful enough to conquer all of the Equestria world. Now, that's basically the idea we get about the Storm King there. We also get the idea that he looks, just as we saw in the trailer, he looks at friendship as being a weakness. Like there's no need for it, you know, that it gets in the way of things you don't really need it, And you can kind of see he's exactly how you're almost going to see him in the movie. He kind of mockingly looks at it like it's a joke. Like something like friendship is a joke. So basically it gives you an idea of who he is. The second issue focuses on Captain Kamalea, I think, the pirate captain, the female pirate captain of the pirate parrot ship, the parrot pirates, or whatever you can call them. It also introduces us to Capper. Capper is also part of this, but we do get introduced to him actually in the first issue as his homeland is being invaded by the Storm King. We get introduced to him and a friend of his. But as far as the second issue goes, Captain Camellia, I think that's her name, I gotta look again, is the main focus here. And we find out that even though she's a pirate captain, she's the exact opposite of the Storm King. That she does care about friendship. She looks at her pirate crew as like her extended family, as her friends and her extended family. And that yes, they will aid if they have to, and pillage certain treasures, but they do it only against those that deserve it, those like the Storm King who deserve it. And it does give us a bit of an interaction, of course, between the Storm King and the captain in the comic. And even here the Storm King kind of shines because he basically acts like it's no big deal. I mean, yeah, it's a big deal to him that Strife betrayed him, or his second in command betrayed him, which is Strife. But then he kind of acts like it's no big deal. You guys are no. He looks at, you know, the captain and her crew like, you know, big. It's like, you guys are no big threat. And I think this is also where we find out Capper kind of comes on board as well. So he kind of, I think, joins the crew, or surprisingly, and if not kind of unintentionally, joins the captain's crew, as far as I know. So that's what the first two issues are. So that's basically an example of what this prequel series is doing. It's basically introducing us to these characters. Like next issue, I'm pretty certain we're either going to get Capper as a focus, or we're going to get the Sea Ponies as a focus. That's what I see. We're going to get Capper or the Sea Ponies. Now, with that said, there is another character that still has to be focused on, and that's Tempest Shadow, which I'm pretty sure is going to, maybe, if we don't get Capper next issue, and we get the Sea Ponies, I look at it this way: we're going to get the Sea Ponies, and we're going to get Tempest probably within one issue before the movie comes out. So you can definitely expect maybe 4 to 5 issues. Again, I got to look at this. Maybe some of you can correct me in the comment section. But basically, well, basically the only characters that have yet to be given a proper origin or introduction to the prequel comics are Capper, the Sea Ponies, and Tempest. So we're gonna see probably those characters come out or be introduced in the next prequel comics. Again, I don't know what the next one's going to be, because the way they play up the covers is you can't really tell who it's about just yet. But I'm pretty certain one of them's gotta be Tempest, the Sea Ponies, mostly Princess Skystar and her mom, the Queen, and like I say, the Queen, and then of course Tempest is going to be one of them. But again, we don't know exactly what we're going to get here with the within the next issues or so. But basically, that's what the first two, and I think the next 2 or 3 prequel comics for My Little Pony the movie are doing. They're basically introducing us to the new characters so that when we see them on the big screen, we'll at least have an idea of who they are, what they're about, and go from there. That's mainly the priority for these comics. And I know some people may think, well, it kind of gives away a little bit of the movie. Not necessarily, because these are events that are supposed to take place. These are events that are supposed to take place before the movie. So these are events that are supposed to take place before the movie and lead us into the movie. So that's mainly what they're about. But really, all I could say is, so far from the issue I've read, from the second issue that people want to get, I have to say that they're doing a decent job here. They're definitely nailing down the personalities of several of the characters that are going to play major parts in this movie, and hopefully we get more of that in the next few issues leading it into the movie. But basically, that's what the prequel comics are. They're not really giving much away. They're giving us more in depth of who these characters are, of who these new characters, heroes and villains are, as well as they're kind of giving us a little bit more about them, kind of like showing us characters interacting with them that we may not see in the movie, but only in the comics. So really, that's all these prequels are about, and hopefully this helped you guys out a little bit. Like I said, I think they got 2 to 3 more issues to go before we find out more, before we get to the movie itself. So that's all I'm gonna say on it live here. Let me know what you think down below. Comment if you like. But again, hopefully I've helped you understand, for those that may not know, why these prequel comics are being released by IDW. Why they're being released, and how, in a continuity way, they have an effect on the movies. So let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. I'm out. Thank you for watching live.